Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a crypto project with a very different kind of mission. It's called GenaImpact, and it's a meme coin that says its goal is about way more than just speculation.
And that really gets us to the big question we're tackling right from the start. Can a meme coin, a type of crypto that's often seen as purely for speculation, actually have a real positive impact on the world? Let's break down how this project claims it can be done.
So on one side of the ring, you have your typical meme coin, right? It's often kind of directionless, just driven by pure hype. But on the other side, you have GenaImpact's stated goal, to build a token that's actually backed by real utility and designed for charitable impact. It's a pretty bold contrast, for sure.
So let's jump right into part one, a meme coin's mission. What is the actual core idea here?
Okay, so according to their pitch deck, the whole project is really built on this one central concept, taking the power of decentralized finance, or DeFi, and combining it with the purpose of charitable giving, all happening through one single token.
But why? Why does a project like this even need to exist? Well, that brings us to section 2, what GenaImpact calls crypto's purpose problem. The project zeroes in on 3 key issues they see in crypto right now. First, there's no really easy, seamless way to connect your crypto with social impact. Second, like we just said, most meme tokens just don't have a real direction. And finally, they believe users and donors are really starting to look for transparency and a genuine sense of purpose.
And all of that leads us straight to their proposed solution. So let's move into section 3 and meet the GeNIM token. So what is this GeNIM thing exactly? Well, the project defines it as a utility-backed, purpose-driven ERC20 token. Now that just means it's built on the Ethereum blockchain, using a really common standard. It's designed to be the engine at the very heart of their whole ecosystem. This slide really breaks down what they mean by utility into 4 key jobs for the token. So it's designed to be tradable on exchanges, you can use it in their partner apps to get discounts, you can donate it directly to on-chain charities, which is cool because it means those donations are publicly verifiable right on the blockchain. And finally, it's used to reward people who participate.
Okay, let's dive into the really interesting part, the value feedback loop. This is the core engine that the project claims will create and sustain the token's value over time.
So the model is laid out as a 4-step cycle. First, a user buys GeNIM. Then they either use it in an app or they donate it. Using it in an app gets them a discount. And that final step is the real key to their whole model. The project argues that this usage, whether it's for discounts or donations, is what drives ongoing demand for the token, creating what they call a self-reinforcing loop.
This quote from their documents pretty much sums up the entire economic theory they're working with. Every feature used creates demand for GMIM. So in their world, the utility isn't just a nice little add-on, it's literally the main thing driving the token's economy. Here's a real-world example. With their partner app, TraderSensei, the normal fee is 1% in ETH, but users get the option to pay half of that fee in GNIM instead. The project's argument here is that this creates a direct financial reason for users to go out, get some GNIM, and use it to save on their E.
All right, let's move on to section 5 and see how this all builds from a plan into actual projections of real-world impact. We'll look at the market opportunity and the project's own financial forecasts.
So the project sees itself stepping into this massive $2 trillion plus crypto market. But more than that, it's trying to tap into this growing global interest in what's called impact investing. The goal is to position itself as a new kind of hybrid, something that combines both utility and charity in one package.
To even start their financial models, they had to begin with a key assumption, a projected starting price of $3 per GeNIM token. This number is really the baseline for all their growth calculations.
Now, check out their baseline forecast. This assumes they start with just 500 users. The project predicts that monthly revenue will grow from about $600 to almost $3,000 in that first year. At the same time, their model forecasts that what they call buy pressure, basically the demand for GeNIM tokens, will grow from around 125 tokens to nearly 600 tokens a month.
This chart really spells out the project's argument for scalability. It's comparing the revenue from that small 500-user forecast with a much bigger forecast of over 100,000 users. According to their model, if they get to that scale, the projected monthly revenue could jump to over $250,000. And if we look at their roadmap, we can see what they say is done and what's still on the to-do list. The token launch and the integration with TraderSensei are checked off as complete. Coming up, they've got plans for a Wallet Explorer to make things more transparent and a DAO system that would let the community vote on which charities to support.
And that brings us to our final section, the ultimate vision. What does crypto that gives back actually mean according to this project?
The project really boils its whole vision down to these three core pillars. The token is designed to fuel applications, to fund charitable causes, and, in doing all that, to reward the people who actually believe in and participate in the ecosystem. And it all comes together in this one simple tagline from their own materials. It's crypto, but it gives back. This sentence really captures the entire promise of the project.
So when you look at the GenaImpact proposal, it leaves us with a much bigger question for the entire crypto space. Could a hybrid model like this one that tries to bake utility and purpose right into a token's DNA, become the new standard for projects that want to have a real-world impact? It's a fascinating question for the future of this whole industry. Thanks for tuning in.